Welcome to this case study where I'm going to show you how we generated 55,000 followers in local market for this online coach that we're working with, and exactly how you can go ahead and utilize the brand magnet blueprint to do the exact same. So this coach that we're working with at Empower Coach, Rene Macapili, is a Danish coach in the Danish market. And as you can see here, this is from Social Blade and the software tool that we're utilizing called Metricool. So we only started utilizing Metricool in June of 2024. So it only says 48,000 followers here. But as you can see, in the past months, or in the first month of 2024, he did generate about 2,000 followers per month-ish. So it is about 55,000 followers in 16 months of working with Empower Coach. So you can see some days he's getting around maybe 100, 150, and some days when he has his viral spikes for some of the reels he has, then it's about 600, 700, etc. Right? So quite consistent all the way through the 16 months. Obviously, there are periods of time where he gets more followers than others, right? So the way that we actually structure the content plan at Empower Coach for the coaches that we work with is obviously very different from coach to coach, because some people like it one way and some people like it the other way. But we have what's called a brand magnet blueprint. And I mean, if you think about content, it doesn't really matter if you're an online coach or if you have an e-commerce brand or whatever type of brand that you actually have. If you've watched Shrek, you might have heard ogres have layers, onions have layers. You get it, we both have layers, right? It's the same with content. Content has a lot of layers, and it is important to have a lot of layers to your content. If you get a lot of new followers from a viral reel that's a booty pic, it's not really high quality followers that you're getting in, and they might not buy your product. So it's very important that you structure your content in a way that it has the different layers that not only gets in new followers, but it also warms them up in the right way to then convert on whatever product that you're selling. For this coach, it's online fitness coaching, and that's what we're working with at Empower Coach. So yeah, it's like an onion, right? You can actually look at content just like if it was an onion. And let me break it down for you. So we have what we call our brand magnet blueprint. It's just something that we've coined, and essentially the point of it is that you want to see it as an onion, right? So just like in Shrek, content is like an onion, and you can build multiple layers to this. I've just tried to summarize it a bit and make it a bit easier to understand. So rather than having maybe 20 different layers and different strategies, etc., I've tried to sort of nail it down and summarize it down for you guys, so you can actually try to go ahead and implement some of these strategies yourself after watching this video. If you want more of these strategies, go ahead and subscribe to the channel and follow us on Instagram at Empower Coach to get more bite-sized tips and tricks for growing as an online fitness coach. But to get back into the onion, we actually go through various different stages for a follower. First of all, to get followers in, but then after a follower comes in, we see on average it takes about 4 to 6 months to convert a new follower into a paying client. Some is 2 weeks, some is 1 week, some is 2 days, and some is 2 years, right? So on average, we see if you have a lot of focus on goodwill and nurturing your followers and getting in new followers in fall, let's say October, November, December, which is a slow period usually for online fitness coaching, then you will see a great uptick in the amount of conversion and organic leads in January, February, March of next year, right? So that's essentially how it works. You really want to obviously have a great balance between CTAs and getting in new followers and providing value, etc. But essentially, you want to get new followers in, right? And you could do that often through viral reels or follow ads. We run a lot of follower ads through paid ads, and obviously we help the coaches with a lot of other things than just content, one of them being paid ads. And part of the paid ad strategy is also getting in new followers. But if you get viral reels, you will obviously get new followers in. And this is something that we do through what we call brand concepts or content concepts. And I will go into that in a second. After you get in your new followers, you want to warm them up in various different stages so you can convert them to a client, right? First of all, people buy personality, right? People buy into a brand, they buy into personality, they buy into something that they can relate to, right? So you want to showcase your own personality. You want to create a community vibe on your Instagram. You want to have people connect with you. And you do that through being personal on your Instagram and being relatable. Next, you obviously want to have educational content. So you want to showcase your skills and your knowledge. And then you want to have transformations and social proof that showcases that what you actually offer works. And then once you have warmed them up through all of these various layers, when you then do your CTAs, more people will convert. But it's a fine balance. You can't do CTAs 5 times per day because then you will exhaust your audience, at least if you don't get new followers in. So let's take it layer by layer. If we take viral reels and new followers, I have a bit of a breakdown here of the content / brand concepts that we do specifically for Rene, right? So you want to find and split test various different concepts, and once you find what works, do it again. Simple as that. So what you could do is you can go ahead and research your competitors, right? Other online fitness coaches within your country or within your niche, and then see what they're doing well. Don't copy it, make it your own. That's what's really important. Obviously, if you find trends, sometimes there are trendy recipes like a Big Mac taco or something like that. Maybe some of you guys know what it is. And then you can obviously duplicate that and just do the exact same thing. But food always works really well for getting in new followers. However, getting new followers in strictly from food might not be the best type of follower if you're providing online fitness coaching, because then people come in because they want just to see more free recipes, and you get a lot of engagement in it and you get a lot of followers in, but we tend to see that it takes a little bit longer time to actually convert these people into a client. The important thing with recipes and food in general is that you actually attach it to your target audience, right? So you want to actually figure out what is the pain point about food for your target audience if you're an online fitness coach, and then do recipes for that. For example, this one right here is meal prep, and a lot of the other things are easy to make recipes because the target audience for Rene is around 20 to 30 guys who want to get in shape, right? So next up is various educational concept actually, where he focuses in on a bit like the Jeff Nippard, maybe some of you guys know who it is, style, where we go ahead and showcase the isolation of muscle groups and showcases how they can actually, with better form, improve the muscle growth that they have. And then obviously he figured out that this type of way with a bit of infographics and red focus on various muscle groups worked really well, and then he duplicated it. And then here we have another little video example. So he did this one first, and then he just did it again, right? So once you find an example, or once you find a brand concept that works really well, just duplicate it, right? You can make another version of the same reel in a different location with different focus points. And this is what you really want to do. Once you've figured out a brand concept that works, just duplicate it and make a new one fast, right? You don't want to only post one type of concept that you find, because that is going to exhaust your audience, your existing followers as well. But you want to try to find these brand concepts that goes viral, and then you can duplicate them again, right? So for this one, he's just comparing two different guys saying that I eat snacks, I eat X, Y, and Z, and then just compares the calories in them essentially, right? So other than that, we have some comparisons. This is also a bit of a viral trend. If you find viral trends in other categories or other niches as well, you can just go ahead and try to see how you can actually adapt it to online fitness coaching, right? So this is where he just showcases the calories and the macros in two different products. This is obviously his own, and then for this particular one, we've integrated ManyChat. So if they go ahead and comment K salad, just in Danish, then they actually get that recipe sent. This is also part of getting in new email subscribers, which is huge, especially if you get your organic following in as email subscribers, because we send newsletters out on a weekly basis, warming them up, right? So this will actually improve the quality of the followers that you have because they're more engaged with your brand. So that was a little bit about brand concepts and how you can actually go ahead and create those. Just go ahead and research viral reels. You can even go in on Instagram and search protein recipe or whatever, funny, relatable fitness or something like that on the Instagram app, but go into reels and see the ones that has gotten the most amount of views, and then go ahead and study those and see what they did great. And then you can make it into your own and split test various different concepts and figure out which one works the best, and then just go ahead and make a new one and make a new one and make a new one. You can even make it into a series, right? Series works really well. I don't have an example of it right here, but we have on our Instagram profile. But if you make a series, right, for example, 10 protein pasta recipes, day 1 out of 10, right? Then people will go in and follow you because they want to see day 2, 3, 4, and 5, and 6, etc. The next layer that we also went through before is personal and relatable, right? So I will just go through some of the examples that we have for Rene. So for stories, you obviously want to build a connection with your followers through stories, also through your feed post, but through your stories, you're able to build a personal connection with them, right? You can, for example, post when you're with your family, what you do behind the scenes shots, when you're working out yourself. You can do Q&As, right? Even if people ask some questions that's more personal, that's really good to share, because then you're able to show more of yourself. And again, people buy personality and brand rather than the actual thing that you do, because people can get a meal plan and a workout program from ChatGPT, right? Showcase when you're working out, showcase when you're eating food. Again, working out, an example here of a story where he went through his own transformation, so people get to know who is Rene besides the reels or the recipes that he posts. Next up is reels and feed posts. So these are just some various different examples. You can do funny, you can do relatable, you can do a lot of different things that just goes beyond the actual educational stuff from recipes, etc. So people get a little bit of a funny side of you. So this is specifically, obviously this is in Danish, I'll translate it for you. So if we just reload the site. So it's, should I train legs today? And then he throws the pen the other way. And then should I train arms? And then obviously there's somebody putting the pen into the cup, right? So it's a little bit funny. It's great, funny. Reels can also sometimes get a lot of views. Then this one is specifically his own cut, right? So he showcases his own transformation. This one is, you know, a funny, relatable video I saw somebody else make as well. And then he just did the exact same meme, right? When your gym bro starts to training without you and he pours protein powder or pre-workout over himself, right? And then this one is a podcast story format, right? So he has 2 assistant coaches and he has started to create a podcast with them where he will then take snippets off that podcast where they talk about something personal and put it up on his Instagram profile. So this one right here, if for you guys who doesn't know Danish, that's totally fair. He's talking about his own transformation and his sort of beliefs when he started out at the gym and how that has changed over time. And then this is an example of just taste testing, right? Daily lifestyle. You can do a vlog of what you do in your everyday life, what you eat in a day, etc., etc. Next up on the agenda for the layers is educational content, right? So this one is going to be a little bit longer. I do have a lot of example for this educational content example. The idea with the educational content is obviously to showcase your skills, your knowledge, and actually that you're able to create results for people, right? So people actually get some value from you. And we do that in a various different ways, or in a couple different ways. And that is through stories, reels, freebies, and guides, lead magnets, essentially just free stuff that you provide for people, a free meal plan, a free workout program, whatever it might be, and static posts. So let me show you some example first of the static posts. So this is something that we do for a lot of the coaches that we work with as well. So we create some static posts for the coaches so that they can actually have more volume on their Instagram profile, provide some aha moments for the followers, and some of these creates a lot of engagement. So for example, for Rene, who has a bit of a younger audience, this is the Drake meme that we've created into him as that meme. And then it showcases Friday night in 2 different ways. So a lot of calories and low calories. You can still have fun or enjoy your Friday night without actually overeating or getting in too many calories, right? Then this is a spread, pålæg. This is like a spread, right? So things you put on top of bread. Swaps, right? So calorie swaps essentially, right? So from this brand to this brand, you will save about 150 calories per 100 grams. And then it showcases various different ice creams. This is a carousel. We do a lot of these in carousels, as you might be able to tell right here from the dots. So a lot of these are done in carousel swipe posts. So people get a lot of engagement. Also, quick note, the good thing about carousel posts is that once you post it, your followers will see the first slide, and then next time they open Instagram, they will see the second slide in that carousel. So it often actually increases the amount of engagement that you get on that particular post. So next up is freebies and guides. Lead magnets, this is a way to get in new email subscribers, but also to provide goodwill to your followers, right? So here are a few different examples. This one is a free meal plan to get 6-pack before summer. This is 10 different ways to keep up the motivation to achieve your goals. And this one is specifically a welcome package or a welcome gift for the people who start following him, right? So there's so many different ways that you can do this. This is a great way. In 2025, you do need to provide a lot of free stuff and a lot of information. You don't have to, but we see if you have the most amount of goodwill as an online coach, people will pick you over the other ones because they see you as a good person, right? You want to try to actually help them. But then obviously once once you have helped them and they see the cliff, right? There's a cliff, and the cliff between their goal and where they're at right now, they get a lot of free stuff from Reels and from your freebies and from your lead magnets, etc. But the difference here is the accountability. It's you, it's the personal stuff, right? So the difference between their goal, right, their dream outcome, and where they're at right now on your Instagram profile, they're getting a lot of free stuff, etc. But they can't really make the leap, right? They've tried before, and the difference is the accountability, and that's where we get into in the transformations and social proof, right? But next up is just Reels in general, and here we have a lot of different content concepts, right? So we do brand or content concepts as well for educational videos, and examples here a lot of different ways. It could be calorie comparisons, as you see here. It could be training, just like we went through before. It could be whiteboard style. It could be, right, Big Mac or McDonald's or whatever type of fast food way that you can get a lot of protein, easy meals, etc. Does bread make you gain weight? Walking can make you actually burn 4,000 calories in a week. A lot of different content concepts. The idea here is just that you actually get underneath the skin. That might be a Danish expression, but actually you get a connection with people, right? They see that you actually know what you're talking about. They get those small aha moments, right? That's a good point. That's a good point. That's a good point. That's a good point. Okay, I'm going to remember that to next time. And then maybe next time they're going to drink a Coke. They're going to drink a Coke Zero because they remember that reel from Rene. Next time that they are out walking, they're going to walk a little bit more because that reel from Rene. Top of mind, touch points, elements that works really well. And then for stories, you really just want to showcase how your coaching program works, right? This also ties in with the transformations and social proof I'm going to show in a second. You can also do Q&As, right? So you can do Q&As where people ask various different questions. Should I take creatine? Then you can talk about creatine. You can talk about food. You could talk about health. You can talk about your own journey. You can talk about a lot of different things, but the idea is just to educate them about your coaching program without CTAs. You could do that sometimes, but not all the times. Educate them about training, nutrition, your coaching program, all of these different things. So you can do that through stories, right? So essentially through your stories, you want to have brand content concepts as well. So you mix it up. So it's not always the same thing. Next one is transformations and social proof. And now we're starting to get into the sales type of layers on the onion and transformations, right? So just imagine that it says social proof. It's the same color, right? So transformations and social proof, and then you have stories and you have feed posts and reels. So for the stories here, there's a lot of different elements that you can do. On our YouTube video, we have another video that you also see in the description down below where I talk about 3 story frameworks. One of those story frameworks is a 3-step story framework, and you could go ahead and watch that through the video down below. Essentially, you talk about a pain point for your followers, you show an example of how you've helped that, but then you do a CTA at the end. So here he showcases, this is just one example of what you can do for the transformations and the social proof. But what you want to showcase is, everything about your clients, right? Client wins. You want to have video testimonials when possible. If you can get that from your client, you can get reviews from your clients. Either you can utilize a locally hosted on your own website, or you could use something like Trustpilot or whatever type of review site that the people in your particular country uses the most. You can do transformations, right? So you showcases the transformations before and after. That's also part of the story frameworks YouTube video, so watch that down below. You can essentially write a lot of different things. You want to showcase your team if you have a team, weight difference from the clients from when they started with your coaching program until now, client messages, etc. Right? You just want to stack as many different types of social proof from your existing clients as possible, and then over time it might be the 27th or 52nd time a follower sees something regarding your client that they actually take action, not the first time. So this is a compounding effect, right? Also, you're getting in a lot of new followers. If you're following the onion strategy here, or the brand Mac, the blueprint, then you'll be getting in a lot of followers over time as well. And they haven't seen the social proof that you posted 2 weeks ago or 2 months ago or 6 months ago, right? So you want to just stack this up. And a lot of coaches are scared about posting too much in story. Don't be that, right? You can reset your story. That's also part of the video down below. You can go to watch that, but you can reset your story to re-engage the algorithm. But we see the coaches who posts the most about their client and their coaching while still having the other layers. So it's not only that they're just posting the most out of the coaches we work with. They get the most amount of organic leads. So you really want to just showcase it in a natural and genuine way. You just want to show your product rather than being too salesy. And then obviously for feed posts and reels, you can see these one are pinned. It's a good idea to have a pinned reel or pinned carousel or pinned transformation where people can see actually the results that you're generating, both for new followers coming in, but also for people, maybe you're running paid ads, or maybe for existing followers that just goes back into your profile after that they see one of your reels and then they see the pinned post, that then they're reminded to actually reach out and buy your coaching or learn more about your coaching. Also, reels, transformations, reels are really good. It gives a bit of more of a storytelling. You can talk about the journey that they've been on, the journey that you have helped them with. So you can talk about the pain points before, their dream outcome, what you did, what you helped them with, and then their results now. Also, in the video down below, I talk about the carousel posts that we do, but here's an example. So rather than just posting one image, you can do it as a carousel post where you post the before and after first, a video testimony if you have that from the client, from the side, from the back, the weight graph for them, the meals and the nutrition that they were able to eat while still losing weight, and then a CTA at the end. And then the final layer in the content onion or the brand magnet blueprint, obviously the goal of posting a lot of content and getting a lot of new followers and getting a lot of engagement. It's fun to get new followers and a lot of engagement, but we also want to make some money, and that's where the CTAs comes in, right? So for the CTAs, you can do it a lot of different ways. You can even post it on your YouTube channel. You can write people in Instagram DMs. You can obviously send it out through emails that we do as well. We run it on paid ads. We do a lot of different things. We have an omni-channel approach. This is specifically for Instagram that we're talking about today. So for the stories, right, this goes a lot into the transformations that I talked about before, and it's also in the 3 story frameworks if you watch the video down below. But you have various different ways that you can do a CTA. You can do a CTA directly to your website, as you can see here. Obviously, some of these things might not make any sense to you if you don't understand Danish, but the point of the concepts of the stories is what's important, right? So for this one, he showcased client after 4 months, spoke about the situation right now, happy and proud of his own body, lost 9.5 kilos, and the 6-pack is showing, trains 3 times per week, and has control of his nutrition now. And then get going with your own coaching program or your own program or get started, whatever translation that would be in English, right? That directly goes into the website. You also have polls. Polls are great because then you can reach out yourself in DMs. It's a little bit more personal and you're actually able to get, a conversation going with people before booking in a call, or you can utilize a setter to actually get them booked in for a call. Then either you can take the calls yourself or maybe you have a sales guy. So for here, right, obviously we're reaching out to the people who actually react to these stories. And then because they've actually shown interest, right? Yeah, tell me more, right? Or what's the price? And then we just text them, have a conversation and see if they're interested to actually jump on a call or if we can close them directly through DMs. Also, you can share video testimonials of your clients, both on feed, but also in your stories, and then do CTAs through that. If you want a more in-depth story framework, then watch the YouTube video down below. That's a little bit more in depth about CTAs and how to close or convert followers into clients, right? So the last layer of the onion. You can also do a reset story that we did here, right? So he's launching a new program, and if you DM him cut, then you can get more information about it, right? This is the only story he has live. And obviously, if you do this consistently, with the stories about the transformations and the social proof, you should not post the CTA every time you do a transformation or a social proof. But when you then do a transformation combined with a CTA, then it will work really well if you have made sure to have all of the layers in the brand magnet blueprint. For feed posts and reels, we sometimes launch campaigns, right? So unique campaigns, or you can even do a CTA based video where you summarize all of the transformations that you have made in 2024, 2025 so far, or maybe showcase all of the testimonials that you've gotten. And then it's a little bit more like you would do for an ad on Facebook or on Instagram. And then if you do Facebook video ads, you can also post them on your Instagram. That doesn't tend to perform as well as if you do a subtle CTA within a video. Let's say you post a transformation reel from before, example, right? So one of the transformation reels that I showed over here, then you at the end could do a little CTA both in the caption or in the video that they should DM you program, or they should click the link in your bio to learn more, right? So this is an example of the campaigns though, right? So if we launch a campaign, we make a landing page for it, we run ads for it, we make a content plan for it, we make story content plan, feed content plan, we make a static post, carousels, etc. And this is an example of that, right? So this was a 16-week or project summer cut. In 16-week, it's summer. And then we go ahead and actually create a whole content plan around that, because we've then warmed up people in the past many months, and then we squeeze the low-hanging fruit with a campaign with a specific offer. So this was the brand magnet blueprint, content onion, if you will. Hope you guys got something great out of it. Remember to watch the video down below for 3 story frameworks that you could go ahead and implement straight away. Follow us on Instagram @EmpowerCoach, and don't forget to subscribe for the videos we'll post in the future.